Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well in your world, global here. Oh man. So we're now inching closer to June 25th's NBA draft. The invitations for the green room have been extended. Side note, surprise J.C. Richardson of Michigan State. That's been quite the buzz. Will not be invited. His pops, Jason Richardson. I don't know if this is some type of prevention of a Bronny issue, a Shador issue, some type of disciplinary thing going on, but uh, behind the scenes where the NBA doesn't want to be the only ones known as a nepotism landfill, but JC is kind of a surprise. Speaking of wing scores, even though they're not the same type of wing score, uh, Ace Bailey is what this discussion is about today. Rutgers Ace Bailey threw out the opening pitch for the New York Mets. Played at Rutgers, which is somewhere in Jersey. He's creating a fury because he's kind of turned down quite a few teams. Ironically, teams like Dallas, Philly, uh, they don't have well, Dallas is a perfect fit for Cooper, but after that, San Antonio, like none of these guys have a clear, dire need for what is considered elite. And ironically, San Antonio might be looking, speaking of Rutgers, at point guard Dylan Harper, who reminds me of kind of like a left-handed Stephon Castle, NBA ready. Yes, they have Fox. I don't know what's the status with Chris Paul. Some are speculating he might end up a Laker. Nothing wrong with that. But or back with the Clippers, excuse me. Um, but he's more guaranteed to be a top 3 pick. Now on the other hand, Ace Bailey not doing pre-workouts, rubbing people the wrong way. I'm gonna be honest with you. First and foremost, Rutgers has been viewed as possibly the most disappointing college basketball team in arguably history. When you got two guys who are top 3 quality, and they vastly underachieve. They would have a big win like defeat Notre Dame and then turn around and get smoked by some lesser tier squads. Defensive stats, there's 362 teams in NCAA. They're ranked 342 in some categories defensively. Offensively, they're 34th worst offense, which is weird when you have an NBA ready point guard and a small forward. Meanwhile, you look at a guy like Cooper Flag landing perfectly in Dallas. He's barely supposed to have been in high school last year, but he's playing for trying to attempt an NCAA title. We all know there's some type of, stuff behind the scenes for Duke, knowing that I watched. For me, I can tell right away because Cooper's getting that R.J. Barrett treatment, the royal treatment. I never seen a guy get more opportunities to show they belong like R.J. did. You could look at Zion and tell Zion was him, but RJ was like, you really had to like give him multiple tries. Also, with respect to Ace Bailey, this is a guy who definitely has flashed on the screen, and some have drawn comparisons to KD. Once it was discovered that that was draft politics, he's really more closer to 6'7". The Rudy Gay, DeMar DeRozan category. Ironically, teammates in Toronto started to breed the new comparison. At least I gave him the DeMar DeRozan comp, who is top 20 all time, I believe, in scoring. Now he moved into top 25 or top 30 all time in scoring this season with the Kings. His free agency, he's a wild card. Very interesting to see what's going to happen with him. But Ace has definitely shown 3-level potential. He gets to his spot very quick, efficient scorer, explosive, definitely has displayed next level athleticism. And so when I'm watching this all unravel, is this by design? Is his season, not trying to accuse Rutgers of any wrongdoing, but two guys like that, and you don't even make March Madness, you didn't participate in any NITs, which would have been the perfect way to gauge what he was. Something leads me to believe, I think Brooklyn's drafting at 7. Today his agent wanted it to be clear that he wants him to remain on the East Coast. They really are trying to make sure he's in the a humbly environment where he can market himself. And I think he really wants to go to Brooklyn and join Cam Thomas and possibly D'Angelo Russell. They had, like, I think at one point, three different point guards show that they can thrive in that Brooklyn system, especially with that international coach over there, Jody. I think Coach Jody over there. So, new young coach who, when he gets some actual talent, it's going to be dangerous. I think they got Claxton, Cam Thomas. Cameron something else, sharpshooter, 6'10" guy from formerly of the Phoenix Suns from the Mikal Bridges trade, I believe. Also, who's over at, I think he's making 190 sharp shooting, 6'10" big. A better version of Trey Lyles from Kentucky, old school guy. But I think this is by design. I think him tanking, the point of this video is he's tanking his stock to end up with Brooklyn. He wants everything to be right. The guy is a gifted scorer. I feel sorry for Philly, but they're just not the environment, even though they're right there at the third waiting, and I'm pretty sure San Antonio's going to go Dylan Harper, barring any surprises. Because, they love them. San Antonio loves international talent. But I'm just going to be honest with you. I think he's sliding on purpose. Look, I watched Jared McCain look like a Rookie of the Year candidate until Paul George came back. And then when he returned, he looked really average, and then he got injured and he was done for the year. And I don't see anything different for a guy like Ace Bailey, who's going to be under Paul George's wing. One could say he kind of has games that's similar, but to put him and bury him behind when he could be on a lottery team giving out great highlights every other night, Sports Center worthy, I just think it's a waste of time. And I think he knows it's a waste of time, and that's why he's trying to push out. And he was told that some reports were saying he wanted a guarantee from Philly that if he worked out, he was going to get. He wanted, regardless of the workout outcome, he wanted to get picked. He was going to get picked third. They weren't willing to make that commitment. Luckily, Morey, for all the he's a liar, this and that from James Harden, he made it clear up front that he wasn't. I guess he made it clear that he wasn't going to do that. So at least that's nice, if that's true from those reports. But I don't like what Philly means to a lot of young guys. I've been hearing rumors that Paul George would be going to Utah. I'm not media. I'm just talking only what I've read as a fan. That Paul George was being dangled to the Utah Jazz for draft compensation. If it was up to me, I would move Embiid, I would try to move Paul George, and I would move Tyrese Maxey. If we seen one thing last year, whether it's Hood Schifino, whether it's Lonnie Walker, they had so many different people, McCain, Maxey, everyone balled when they played at point guard, under Nick Nurse. So it's not like personnel is the confusion. It's just simply like, so if it's not personnel, why not just blow it up? You can develop young guys. Nick Nurse seems to have a rapport with the young players, everyone that steps through there. So why not just, expedite the situation? You're paying them a shit ton of money. That's the way to get the most bang for your buck, because quite frankly, if you don't know what you have in Embiid, I'd rather try to entice the Spurs or someone who has an abundant amount of draft capital to try, even though I know Wemby has insinuated, I don't know for a fact let me just stop because we don't know for a fact who he was talking about. But, if you can move off Embiid, why not sell high? And especially with the possibility of a medical waiver if he doesn't make it through this year, I don't see why they don't do that. You know what I mean? Quite frankly, but Philly's not the place for Ace Bailey. I know he's coming off real wrong. He seems like a really nice guy, though, and in the interview he presents well. Just as business for him, and this is the only time he has control of his destiny before he gets drafted, because once that happens, I like what Rich Paul said one time, LeBron's LRMR partner from the marketing agency, fit over pick every time. It doesn't matter all that prestige of the first overall. If anything, it just puts more pressure to speed up your career in dog years in terms of what your destiny or fate is going to be, as opposed to being brought along smoothly and slowly with the opportunity to go through your bumps graciously. And so we'll see about how that plays out. But I don't think Ace is a bad guy. It's just he really wants to make sure that he's in the best place to be all that he can be. Because, as you all know, you can have all the talent in the world, but most players, it takes a rare breed to survive your circumstance until your opportunity presents itself. Shout out to Caruso, who you see went from G League to the Lakers, fall all the way down to the Bulls, even though he got paid, waited his turn, ended up back where he began on the G League affiliate of the OKC Thunder, and now you see him having one of the most decorated runs from guarding Jokic to, starting with the Oklahoma City Thunder next to the MVP Shai Gilgeous, who looking like he's going to get Finals MVP if they win. So these guys, they only got one chance to really get it right before you're delayed for a long time, and I respect his concern. I don't think any less of him. Hope this video was informative, Utopians. I'll try to do better next time. Global out.